This season of Love Island USA is still bad, but it is bad for a completely different set of reasons. Don't get it twisted. It is very entertaining right now. I am fully engaged. This might be the most entertained I've been by Love Island ever, but there are so many things going wrong that would ruin the experience if the drama wasn't just so captivating. I just finished episode 20, or was it 21? The episode where everyone comes back from Casa, Amor. And first and foremost, I just want to say, Casey and Corbin, get behind me. You guys are about to get blitzed. The show's voter fan base is probably around 95% women, so they're about to massacre you guys. I was scrolling through Instagram Reels last night, and I saw a comment on a Love Island video that said, "So we're sending Casey home tonight, right?" And that shit had like 20,000 likes. Brother, you're done. You know what I'm saying? This might be the end of the road for you guys. The episode starts with Annayia saying she wants to be with Casey because he's fine shit, quote unquote. And that's her fucking problem. She needs to be with someone who resonates with her more on a mental level over someone who she finds the most physically attractive, aka Carl. Carl is still very attractive and he's a unit, but I feel like he understands her more and he's able to tend to her needs better than Casey. But she wants Casey because he's fine shit. That comment she made about Casey led me to believe that she is going to leave Carl right where she found him for Casey. Which makes no sense because she called Carl a grown man and Casey a little boy. She's, I think, going to choose to be with a little boy over the grown-ass man simply because he looks better. And that's where shit is going to go wrong for her every single time. My dislike for Trinity has been growing more and more as the episodes go by because she's the perfect example of someone inheriting hatred. When Annayia said she wants Casey because he's fine shit, Trinity didn't like that comment and told her, "So keep letting fine shit do you dirty then, bitch." Trinity hasn't experienced or witnessed any negative interaction with Casey, but in her mind, Casey is a bad person solely based off the comments Annayia feeds her. And since she only hears the negative side of Casey and Annaya's relationship, she thinks Casey is the worst person ever for her. In Trinity's mind, she cannot understand why Annayia still wants Casey when all she hears from Annayia are negative things about Casey. Annayia and Casey's relationship has their ups and downs like every other relationships. So let's just say in this hypothetical is 50% up, 50% down. Annayia only goes to Trinity and tells her about the 50% that is that down portion. But to Trinity's point of view, that's the 100% of Casey that she's hearing about because she doesn't speak to him at all. All she knows of Casey are the words that Annayia relates to her. Her complete interpretation of Casey is solely based off the words Annayia has told her, which has led to her disliking Casey even though she does not know that man. They do not talk and they do not interact. Instead of doing her due diligence and going to speak to him to see if what Annayia is saying is true or not, she believes to take everything Annayia says at face value, which has led her to harbor this resentment for Casey because he's doing her girl so dirty every single day. It's very juvenile. Zach and Bryce's homosexual streak continues to progress, as in this episode, they were caught dry humping each other in bed. At this rate, they might genuinely end up kissing by the show's finale. Sincere and Amor still making out in bed is definitely something. I legit couldn't wait to see how he would look her in the eyes and tell her she's catching the first flight back home. Because there is no way in hell this man was ever going to bring her back to that main villa. Random comment I have right here is that Carl is fucking shredded. I think I wrote this down when he was making breakfast for Annayia, but this dude is a unit. There's no real deep dive insight. That's just it. It's an observation. Bro is deezed. Sincere is a fuckboy pro max. He said he's already beginning to forget what Melanie looks like after just a few days at Casa. If she doesn't leave him after this, it better be after they show her a 2-hour-long montage of this man disrespecting her on movie night. He hates her, brother. Melanie kissed someone. I repeat, Melanie kissed someone. This is not a drill, and his name is Corey. I learned his fucking name. She's seeing that unlike Sincere, Corey is a man of action. Instead of constantly telling her how much he likes her, he continues to show her, and it's honestly amazing. She deserves this. This is the final chance. God has just given her a escape Sincere now button. All she needs to do is smash that shit. As much as I hate to do this, I have to defend Kenzie for a moment. Not completely, but just a little bit. She's speaking to 2 girls at Casa Amor right now, as she should. But some of the girls, Jen in particular, aren't big fans of that. And I think this is part of the reason why there's this kind of unspoken stigma. When you're doing what you're supposed to do right now, people are talking behind your back about it. Everyone's job here is to explore, but you kind of can't do that without a bit of shame being thrown at you behind your back or to your face. Why shouldn't she be talking to multiple men at Casa Amor? Especially after her and Corbin's relationship is now in the dirt. Why wouldn't she be open to seeing what's out there? On the other hand, she's a bit of a dickhead, you know? She knows that one of the guys she's talking to is the guy that her new best friend Jen likes. But I think Kenzie befriended her because Jen is basically like a downgraded version of her. Jen isn't she's not competition in Kenzie's head. Any man both of them want, Kenzie knows she's gonna get. And she's kind of like throwing that in Jen's face because she's not a threat to her. Oh, he wants both of us. If I go speak to him, he'll want me. And that's the only part where I'll side with Jen. Jen and Kata did say, I think Kenzie does love the attention, which she definitely does. But again, at the end of the day, she's here for her. And she's supposed to be exploring whatever connection she wants to explore, especially now that her connection is gone. Early in this episode, it began. Annayia started to soft launch her breaking Carl's heart. All of a sudden, she starts bringing up Casey's name in conversation, when for the past few days, his name was basically Voldemort's. She couldn't say that shit to save her life. Gun to her head told her to bring up Casey. She was dying right there. But all of a sudden, I have a connection with Casey, you know? It's kind of tough, Carl. You know, I like you and all, but I still have a connection with Casey. You know, the saxophone started playing real loud right there. She also became less affectionate towards him, and even when they hugged, that shit was awkward as fuck. It ended up being a side hug, and she couldn't even look at him. She just looked to the side, like, while he was hugging her. And I think he was able to pick up on those vibes, that energy, because I'm talking about Carl, he began to doubt where this could potentially go. Even though during that conversations, all the words Annayia was saying were words of affirmation. She was calling him perfect, you're a great guy, you're this and that, you're everything I look for in a man, you're a man, not a boy, blah, 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 this and that. Her body language was completely different. She was not touching him. She barely looked at him. She didn't want to hug him. And actions will always speak louder than words. You can say whatever you want, but your body will always show your true feelings or your true mental state. Your body will let everyone know how you're really feeling in that moment. And Carl was able to pick up on that. It's time for D-Day, and a moment I've been dreading. At a random moment throughout the day, they got a text letting them know that tonight is recoupling night, where they have to decide whether or not they want to couple up with someone new from Casa Amor or remain loyal to their original couples back in the main villa. And my God, I was nervous. And I'm not even there. I couldn't even open up Twitter because everything was just spoilers. And I didn't want to risk it because I knew I was going to make this video tonight and I wanted to type down my authentic emotions in the moment. If I watch a clip, 3-4 minute clip out of context, I don't know if I'd feel how I felt watching it all in one go. So I had to stay off Twitter for a few hours, which was tough because that's the best fucking app right there. I'm not gonna lie. But man, all I knew is that I was sure. The only prediction I had going into this is that I know exactly what Annayia is gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I've seen this script. I've read this script. If you know ball, if you really know ball, you know exactly the kind of game Annayia was going to play tonight. She was in that main villa doing everything under the sun with Carl. She made out with that man multiple times and had her legs draped all over him. But I knew for a fact she was gonna leave him right there, then stand up at that fire pit all by herself. And the moment Casey walked back in that villa with Tiara, because he was obviously going to bring back Tiara, Annayia looks like a victim. She looks like she's been done dirty once more. And Casey looks like the biggest asshole in the universe. Like I said, I've seen this script. What that guy from Squid Game said, I've played these games before. Casey, you are about to get ripped to shreds. Corbin, I'd say you too, but it's Kenzie. Kenzie has her fan base, but it's no Annayia fan base. Annayia has shooters. I told you about that comment section. Annayia got killers, man. Hired assassins. They're about to destroy this guy's entire Love Island experience, and there's damn near nothing he can do about it. The girls in the villa already don't like this man that much. And the public, which is 95% women, already do not like him that much. I could already foresee that what was going to happen in this episode, because I knew for a fact we would get a waterfall of Annayia tears. Casey. It's over, you know what I'm saying? Casey FC, it's been a good ride, dog. It's over for our boy. His ass is grass. And before we start, I just want to mention that Jen is legitimately getting cooked, just like Caleb did by Corbin. The way Kenzie speaks over this woman when it comes to the guy that they want, I forgot his name, is it Gal? The way Kenzie speaks over Jen when it comes to Gal, as if Jen isn't even there. When she speaks about her wanting Gal, it's not about, oh, I want Gal, but he's talking to Jen too. Like I said before, Jen isn't a threat. Jen is sitting right there, and she's speaking to someone else about Gal as if she already has Gal wrapped around her finger. The decision can be made at a snap of a finger. And I kind of feel bad for Jen, but, you know, that's what you get for making that dumbass comment earlier, I guess. Anyways, let's get into this fiasco. Jen didn't have anyone before Casa Amor, so she coupled up with Gal, leaving the light-skinned Charlie Kirk hanging. Unfortunately for her, Kenzie is still in the villa though, and we know that Gal wants her more than he wants Jen, so she is still in for a doozy. Go get your cuck chair ready, buddy. Caleb coupled up with Jaden, which was bleh. Since he had no connection in the villa, he had to come back with somebody. I don't even think they have much in common, but again, he had to bring someone home because it would have been nuts if he was in the villa single and then he left Casa Amor single also. I hope it works out for the best, but this was essentially all he could do since Corbin took his actual number one right from underneath him. And my God, the way the girls in the main villa treat Caleb like a make-your-wish kid must be so embarrassing for him. Because at home, he's probably Mr. Bitches, Mr. Bag a Bitch. But in here, because he's been struggling, it's gotten so bad that the girls are like, oh my gosh, you finally did it. We were rooting for you. Hooray! That must be so demoralizing. He's sitting down like, damn. They think I'm bitchless. They think I ain't got no game. And that's just what he's stuck. He's living a very tragic villa life, and I just feel bad for him. When it was Kenzie's turn, she spoke about fuckboy Corbin as if the fuckboy from Miami would ever stop being a fuckboy from Miami. The man who's been doing the same shit for the past 10 years is going to change that in 3 weeks. For you? Yeah, you guys are funny, dog. You guys are funny as fuck. So Kenzie ended up coupling up with Dylan, and when Corbin walked through those doors with Parmita, he was not ready for what was about to happen to him. Remember last episode when Corbin said the girls in the villa feel like a bunch of high school girls, while the girls from Casa feel like more grown-up college girls? This was what he meant. They started booing this man. Boo, boo, tomato, tomato. All because he found a connection at Casa. Kenzie also found a connection at Casa. Do you think they booed her? Of course not. Obviously, he did deserve some boos because during that first night, he literally said, I'm tossing Kenzie to the side now. Fair enough. But to boo this man like he committed a heinous crime? Yeah, he was an asshole, but it was literally harmless. Literally, him doing what when he entered this villa, they all said in consensus, this is a fuck boy. We don't know if we can trust this man long term. He is a fuck boy. So why are they all of a sudden acting like the fish in water wasn't going to swim? Like, are we dead ass right now? And that was just the beginning. When it was time for him to explain why he made his decision, the girls wouldn't let him get a single word in. They began to jump him, just throwing all sorts of words at this man. And he didn't give a single fuck once more. Like I said, he might be the I don't give a fuck final boss. The best part about being stupid is that your brain really doesn't comprehend sly remarks like a regular person would, and I think that works well for someone like him. But the fact that the girls bring up that him finding a connection in 3 days means it's fake and meaningless makes no sense, because does that not mean that it would also apply to all the girls from the main villa who found a connection at Casa Amor? They're throwing insults to Corbin when those same insults apply to the girls sitting right next to them. So often, people dish out remarks that could easily be applicable to those closest to them, but they aren't cerebral enough to know it because they're too invested and biased at the enemy in front of them. So by their logic, Jen's connection, Melanie's connection, Annayya's connection, and who was the last person? Kenzie. And Kenzie's connection that they all made at Casa Amor were all fake and meaningless, right? If all it took was 3 days, no one can do anything. Everything is fake. Let's ignore the fact that in the first 3 days of Love Island at the very beginning, Annayia fell for Casey, Trinity fell for Bryce, Casa fell for Zach. So why is it that in Casa Amor, 3 days don't mean anything? But 3 days at the start of the show, people were already locked in. They were calling it Couples Love Island because nobody wanted to do anything because they thought they already found their person. So does 3 days matter or does it not? And Parmita, please stop defending Corbin. He is not a good person. Do not ruin your social credit for the sake of this man. All the allegations they threw at him were completely true. The only thing is, he just doesn't give a fuck. But you should kinda give a fuck. That's the person you're gonna be attached to, so you should still wanna hear what they're saying. Obviously, don't start piling on and attack Corbin. But if what they're saying is true, you wanna take it into consideration. But she kinda gives off the vibe that more traditional women give off. Like, oh, he's just a boy. He's thinking with his dick. And my God, disgusting. You look good, but again, she's like Corbin, a complete airhead. Casa stayed loyal to Zach, which is fair, I guess, because none of the boys from Casa Amor really tickled her fancy. I really do think she's just head over heels for this guy, Zach, and they already had sex. So to her, that connection is really there. But I don't I don't like this, man. I don't like this because Zach is about to get bailed out. Because his connection got sent home for being a super duper uber mega ultra instinct racist, he's able to get out of he's able to basically get a get out of jail free card because he didn't have to make a decision on whether or not he should walk back in that villa alone. It was already made for him. So now he's gonna walk in there all by himself and they're gonna be like, oh my God, Zach, you stayed loyal. When no, the fuck he didn't. They don't know that the female Hitler got sent to the gulag while in her sleep. So they're giving this man a round of applause for no fucking reason. People often say that evil never prevails. But it very much does, and Zach is a perfect example of that. Zach stood up there and lied. He said it took him 3 to 4 days to kiss Alana, and only after he forced himself to do so to truly experience Casa Amor. First of all, Casa is only 3 days long. So how did it take you 4 days to kiss her? And second, and most importantly, he legitimately kissed this girl on day one. Outside of the challenge on day one, he made out with her. But because there's no one there to fact check him, he's able to get away with it. The way he's able to lie and no one is ever there to check him. Oh, and Kata doesn't see it. Kata literally can't see it because it's not shown to her. She just has to believe whatever he's saying. And I hate it for her because I genuinely think Kata is a decent person. She used to be good. After this episode today, she's brought down to decent. Kata's a decent person, but the way Zach is able to lie and get away with whatever he wants to because no one's there to check him. The girls literally clapped for him and said he's off the shit list because he got bailed out. Melanie stood up and spoke about how she doesn't know who Sincere is anymore due to the way he's been continuously mistreating her, then proceeded to speak very highly of Corey, saying he's exactly the type of person she looks for in a boyfriend, which led me to believe she would couple up with him. But no. She chose to continue the cycle and stay in a couple with Sincere. And before he walked in there, she said, and I quote, "I hope he doesn't put me through this again. My sister in Christ, he's only allowed to put you through something one time before you have the opportunity to intervene. At this point, you were letting it happen. The first time, shame on him. Anything after that, it's shame on you. The fact that you keep letting yourself be at the mercy of a serial cheater is beyond me. You are going to get what's coming to you." Sincere walked through those doors acting like he's missed Melanie more than anything in the world. But that doesn't erase what he's been doing for the past 3 days. And you can tell by his smug remarks that he's fully aware that he has Melanie wrapped around his fingers. He stepped on that deck and said he knew she'd be there standing all alone waiting for him. I'd praise Melanie for calling him out and cussing him right then and there, but the fact that she chooses to remain with a man who repeatedly disrespects her lets me know everything I need to know about her character. She has low self-esteem and little sense of self-worth. And my God, the girls in this villa have such a main character syndrome. They behave like a gang. They think because they were on the main cast, this Love Island experience is for them, when it is in fact for everyone who makes an appearance. It doesn't matter if you're a bombshell or someone from Casa Amor. Once you were on the show, this is your experience as well, and you're supposed to try and make it as far as possible. But they so often tell other people to mind their business. Don't interfere. Don't interject. Who are you? Like Corbin said, and I hate the fact that I'm agreeing with fucking Corbin, but this is literally high school girl behavior. One thing about the guys, and the guys have their fucking issues, don't get me twisted, they never behave like this. It's so rare for me to see a man walk into the villa and the boys don't fuck with him right away. The men always understand that we're all here for the same purpose and all is fair in love and war. This is Love Island. You're here for the same reason as me. If a bombshell walks in and tries to take my girl, I have no issues with this man because that is literally his job. That's what he's here for. But with the women, it's such a it's a completely different story. And I don't like that shit. It's how we got that soul situation, and it's how we're gonna get another situation later on in this episode. Trinity decides to remain loyal to Bryce, and Bryce does the same to her, which is cool, I guess. I don't really care. Now it's time for the biggest moment of the season. I wrote a whole bunch of stuff down, and this last part literally might make up the same amount of typing space as everything else. It's time for Annayia and Casey to make their decisions. I told you guys, I've seen the script. I've played these games before, and my prediction ended up being correct. Annayia stood up there and began once again giving Carl compliments. He's perfect, and now he's everything she looks for in a boyfriend. And we all knew what was going to happen. The minute someone stands up and starts glazing you, you know that butt is coming. All the guys from Casa even looked at Carl and said, if anyone is going to get chosen, it's going to be you. But Carl said, nah, I'm not feeling confident, because he knew what was coming. Those saxophones, the more compliments she began to give this man, the louder the saxophones got. He's going to get left right where he was at. And that's exactly what she did. So now she's standing up there, remaining loyal to Casey, and I'm saying the word loyal with the biggest fucking air quotes of all time, because she was in that villa wilding the fuck out. When she saw Casey doing that, the live feed of Casey in Casa Amor, that was Casey during a challenge. Everything Casey did, he had to do, because it's a challenge. In a challenge, you have to kiss people. All she saw was Casey doing what he was forced to do, no matter what. Main villa, Casa Amor. If it's a challenge and someone comes to kiss you, you have to kiss them. But off that live stream, she decided to say, fuck Casey. What if Casey, hypothetical right here, because that's all she saw from Casey, what if Casey partook in the challenge and said, nah, I'm not doing this, I'm good, I'm gonna remain with Annayia? Annayia already decided to make her decision based off Casey in a challenge. She said she was gonna play the game 10 times harder. She said if he's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it too. Once again, it was a fucking challenge. In a challenge, you have to partake. She made a very naive decision based off Casey's actions in a mandatory challenge. If he chose to remain loyal, she would have done all this fuck shit for no reason, and there's no getting away with it. But because that's not the case, I'm not gonna give her much gripe. She's allowed to explore the same way Casey explored. I'm just saying, because she didn't actually know what Casey was doing there, the fact that she moved like this is nuts. It felt very retaliatory. Not because she wanted to, but because if you're doing it, I'm gonna do it too. Again, I'm going to reiterate the fact that Annayia was wilding out in that villa, as she should have. She has all the right to, but she was making out with this man, Carl, like it was nobody's business. Draped all over this man like it was nobody's business. Said he's the perfect man for her. He's a man, Casey's the boy. She was the same way the girls are saying, oh, I can't believe Casey was insulting Annayia. Annayia was insulting Casey right back. She called this man a little boy and not a man. That context will not matter for what's about to come next. Casey walks through those doors with Annayia. Not with Annayia. She wishes. Casey walks through those doors with Tiara, and that's when all hell's about to break loose. Casey, I literally had my hands like this and began to pray for you, dog. You were about to have to go through a gauntlet. Best of luck to you. Annayia looks up and sees Casey and Tiara, and she begins to cry. And this is where the battle begins. I cannot tell you how much anger this scene instilled inside me, and I had to sit there and proceed to watch. It actually pains me to see such biased and hypocritical behavior in real time, knowing that there's one side of one of the two contestants in whatever's about to go down cannot win. There was nothing Casey would have been able to do to walk out of there with a fair jury. The minute he walked in there with someone else, it became 6 against 1. it was over for him before it even started. Annayia starts with the same old victim complex once again, that she's just some damsel in distress who Casey has just been doing wrong this entire time. When in reality, they've both been doing the exact same thing at Casa Amor. The only difference is Casey did it for real and genuine reasons. He was freed over there. So now he felt, again, free to explore something new. And Annayia was moving out of pure retaliatory action. And that's what led to their final decision. Because for Casey it was genuine, he decided to follow through with his actions. And because for Annayia, she only did it because she thought Casey was doing it, she decided to walk it back and stand up there alone. She continues to go on with that victim mentality bullshit, even though she was doing the exact same fucking thing. But once again, that context does not matter because it's Annayia. She's one of the girls. People who weaponize their emotions and tears like that are some of the most dangerous people you will ever meet. Before Casey can even open his mouth, the battle has been lost. This was never going to be a fair fight. The judge and jury already made their decisions. Let's go through the hypotheticals. Let's say, for example, that Casey did exactly what Annayia did at Casa Amor. He was just kissing the girls and came back alone. You don't think she would hold that shit over his fucking head for the rest of the fucking show? He told her he found So attractive, and he had to spend the next week making up for it with constant reassurance. If she found out his saliva entered another woman's mouth, oh my God. They might have wrapped a chain around this man and put him in a cage. Yeah, Casey, you can't see the sun for the next 2 weeks because of your actions. He was going to get crucified regardless, even if he mirrored Annayya's behavior 1-to-1. So he decided to go with his heart, and his heart led him to Tiara. The host asked Casey how he's feeling, and once again, the gang of women interrupt before he's even able to get a sentence out and tell him to shut the fuck up, because clearly his feelings in this experience do not matter. He is simply an accessory to Annayia. So if she's sad, all he's supposed to do is get on his fucking knees and grovel. Casey said he chose himself, as he should have, but gets cut off once again. Annayia cuts him off, and when he tries to continue, the girls tell him to stop cutting her off, even though the host just said it's his turn to speak. Do you see what I mean by this is a gang? If you do not adhere by the rules the 6 women have set outside of the host who is literally right there trying to mediate, if you don't follow the girls' rules, you lose. You're in the wrong. Casey reminds them once again that this decision is for him and tells Annayia that on day 1, she did not pick him. And then she proceeds to go on and say he's the one that didn't pick her. And by that she means by today. She's ignoring the fact that for the past month, he's been choosing her every single day and constantly reassuring her. That doesn't matter right now. When they even left to go on Casa Amor, they left on pretty bad terms because he was still making up for the comments that other boys made to her, letting her know that, oh, Casey said he was interested in So. When, yeah, he said he was interested in So, but he let Annayia know over and over again, even though I'm interested in her, I'm not willing to risk what we got. But in Annayya's brain, all she hears is, I'm the safe option, I'm the safe option, I'm the safe option. When you are reassuring someone, but that's what their brain defaults to, there is nothing you can do. Casey, no matter what he said or did, nothing was working. It wasn't worth it anymore. He's spending all this energy pouring it into a bucket that's filled with holes. His words go in through one ear and out the other. Everything is always about her. Like I mentioned in my last video, it's not the regular brand of narcissism where it's arrogant selfishness. It's something emotional narcissism. I don't know how to explain it truly, but I'm pretty sure it falls under the umbrella of narcissism because it really is her. Her emotions are the only ones that are valid. His don't matter. If her emotions aren't being validated, someone's in the wrong somewhere. Now the host poses the same question she asked to Casey to Tiara. How are you feeling in this situation? And while she's speaking, Trinity decides to cut her off. And now the martyr of Annayia's hatred decides to go on some nonsensical rant aimed towards Casey. And when Tiara interjects, the girls tell her to mind her business. We're not talking to you. Like I said, this is a gang. Casey was getting jumped by 5 people at once to the point where he couldn't even get a word in. So when Tiara decides to step in and help him, the girls tell her to shut it and that they aren't speaking to her. This has nothing to do with you. Let Casey talk. He's a grown-ass man, right? He can fend for himself, right? But the whole time they're saying, let Casey talk for himself, they're speaking for Annayia. This brand of hypocritical behavior is the kind of rage bait that would work on me. How are you gonna say, let Casey talk for himself, when Trinity was talking more than Annayia in Annayia's recoupling speech? The host is talking to Annayia and Trinity wants to speak. Who's talking to you, Trinity? Dead ass, who's talking to you? No bullshit. Who's talking to you? Who do you think you are? But it's cool if you guys can help out your girl, Annayia. But when someone wants to help out Casey, it's a problem and they should shut up and mind their business. But if someone tells Trinity to shut up and mind her business, not a problem. I want to give Tiara a round of applause because she really did stand her ground. Those girls were dead ass trying to bully her into submission and she did not waver. Yeah, her voice was like quivering a little bit, but just because you get nervous in the face of adversity doesn't mean you aren't there, you aren't present. She was definitely probably a bit scared, but she still did her shit. The same way if someone's about to attack you, you can be scared when you're about to defend yourself, but as long as you're still throwing them haymakers, you're good. Fear is the sign of survival instinct. She stood 10 fucking toes down. If she's a little gangster, bro, her voice quivering lets you know she doesn't want to do this. But her following through with her mental state, letting them know, you're not about to walk all over me, lets me know she doesn't want to do this, but she will do it if she needs to. And I fuck with that shit, bruh. Casey was over there smiling the whole time she was talking, and I would be too. She told those girls, hey bro, who are you talking to? How are you gonna tell me when to speak or not to speak? Who's gonna shut me up? Are you gonna shut me up? Who's gonna stop me? They're like, oh, we're not talking to you. She said, I don't care. I'm talking to you. Hey! Hey, man. Oh my God. Oh, this was like that. Oh my God. I don't know what to say right now, bro. This felt so good. And I like this because I feel like Tiara knew that the girls were talking to Casey so crazy, but Casey isn't allowed to match that energy. The same way how a girl can hit a guy and a guy can't hit back, girls can talk to men in a way that men cannot talk to them without looking like an abuser. So I think she understood what was going on and said, okay, if Casey can't speak to them how he's speaking to him, I'm going to speak to them like that. They want to speak to you crazy, I'll speak to them crazy. And I fuck with that. That's the true signs of a rider fucking die right there. Tiara, hey bro, I love you already. She's gangster, man. She's gangster. Told those girls, who's gonna stop me? Tell me to mama, you mind your business. Who's talking to you? No bullshit. Bitch, I'm TT. She's fucking TT, nigga. Call Trinity a little fucking girl, which she fucking is. A big old fucking bird brain. She's a bird, man. Like for once in your life, Trinity, shut the fuck up. Shut up, man. It's Annayia and Casey talking. But this girl is running her fucking mouth. This isn't about you. This isn't, literally, who are you? You're telling Casey to talk for himself. Let Annayia talk for herself. Who are you? Hey, bro, I'm so glad Tiara corralled these women and put them in their fucking place. Because I promise you, she shut their ass up right there. The host finally gets back to the topic of Casey's emotions, and that's when he talks about how, once again, he made this decision for him, not for Annayia, and speaks on how, because him and Tiara grew up in the same region, she's very familiar to him. They have almost everything in common, unlike him and Annayia, which took a lot of effort and time to even find a little bit of similarities. His connection with Tiara was just easier. He goes on to speak on how his feelings are valid and how this Love Island experience is for him the same way it's for everyone else, including Annayia. So he followed his heart and it led him to Tiara. And goes on to let the girls know that he does not require their approval for any of his actions. He didn't know them a month ago, and after this show is done, he is never going to see them again. So he does not give a single fuck what they think about him. And obviously the girls had a problem with that. I'm telling you right now, if Annayia recited the exact same speech Casey just gave, word for word, verbatim, they would have given her a standing applause. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, especially with people you have just met, you always have to choose yourself first. And that's exactly what he did. He then goes on to remind Annayia that a few weeks ago, he told her straight up, even though we have a connection, if you ever find someone who suits you better than I do, I want you to pursue them. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here for you, you're not here for me. We're here for ourselves. As much as I like you, I want you to find what's best for yourself. And tells her that she never uttered the same sentiment back to him. The girls love bringing up the fact that, oh, these boys were so disrespectful here and there. Need I remind you, Annayia was disrespectful as fuck herself. She called Casey a little boy. He's too goofy. He's not serious. This and that. Casey, the only true insult that Casey gave to Annayia that I truly didn't approve of is when he called her a grandma when she didn't want to be affectionate with him, which I truly don't like. If someone isn't ready to be affectionate, they aren't ready to be affectionate. You don't insult them for that. So I grilled him for that, and rightfully so. But the fact that, apart from that, he hasn't said anything bad about her. Ever. Literally ever. He said that me and her don't have much in common. And everyone saw that as the biggest diss in the book, which is just a factual statement. They don't have much in common. Nothing wrong with that. But that's not an insult. It's just a fact. The episode ends with Annayia crying, of course, and her saying that she should have chosen Carl. Don't do that shit. Don't bring Carl back into this. You said he was perfect for you and left him behind because Casey was quote unquote fine shit and you've known him longer. Get the fuck out of my face. A connection isn't solely judged by how long it's been there. It's based on how their values, personalities, and love languages match. And even though Casey has known Tiara for a shorter period of time, the things I just listed align for them. The same way they aligned for Annayia and Carl. But she left him for Casey because, once again, he's fine shit and for some arbitrary period of time that they spent together, which means nothing. You can spend a week with someone and feel like you've known them for a lifetime. And you can spend a lifetime with someone and feel like you don't know this person. Time is irrelevant. She let that shallow way of thinking rule her decision instead of thinking forward and wondering, would this particular scenario, would this particular person work in the outside world long term? And that's where she should have chosen Carl because they are a better match. But instead, she decided to be superficial and she lost. Sucks to suck, buddy. She genuinely thought she could have got back with Casey, but when Casey was talking up there, he was talking as if he was writing her off. And Annayia said, oh wow, he's really writing me off. Yes, yes. First of all, he found someone that looks better. Second of all, I'm not going to say a second part. He found someone that looks better. And secondly, their personalities match more. And thirdly, she doesn't constantly require him to do everything under the sun just for it to be ignored. Well, not yet. It may happen in the next few episodes if they remain onto the show. But so far, so fucking good. Based off the 3 days of them at Casa Amor, it trumps the 4 weeks you and Casey have spent together in Love Island. And that says a lot. Boy, oh boy, I cannot wait to do my deep dive video at the end of this season because that shit might be longer than the previous one on the main channel. And that shit was an hour and a half long. There is so much happening at the same time in this show, man. With that being said, though, I also can't wait to do the ranking videos updated because shit will be changing. Oh yeah, that shit's dropping like tomorrow, next few days. Oh, I'm excited.